While in the underworld, Aeneas and the Sibyl walk past Dis, the city of the eternally damned within the underworld. And they've arrived to this part of their tour, and here we will see where Aeneas sees, hears, and responds to the horrific noises and sounds within, as well as the Sibyl's explanation of what all that is. All right, so as we begin, the first thing which might cause a little bit of concern is this particular relative clause here. So Aeneas looks beneath suddenly, and he sees beneath a rock on the left-hand side, huge walls, right? Surrounded with a triple wall, which, and so the antecedent of quae is moenia, which a rapidus amnes surrounds with flammis torrentibus, and that will help you with that part. This is the Tartareus Phlegathon. This is the river Phlegathon, the river of fire. Okay, so the porta, then, the entrance facing is huge. All you need to know here is that this particular type of stone is absolutely hard and immovable and permanent. And in this line, you see exactly how strong that is, that not even strength of man nor gods is able to move those whatsoever. Eferreia turis stands ad auras, and sitting within is Tisiphone, succincta with a cruenta palla, those are ablatives, palla cruenta. She is exomnis, and she protects the vestibulum noctes quodiesque. Hinc, from here. Then we have a series of infinitives, exaudiri, sonare, ferri. These are all historical infinitives, and they're simply narrating present time. So feel free to translate those in English as regularly conjugated verbs. So as Aeneas looks around and he drinks all of this in, he says, Quae scelerem facies o virgo. He's with no idea what all of this is. So what are the appearances of these crimes, O Virgin, effare? And this is the imperative that he uses for her. He continues to ask a few questions, and then the Sibyl replies, having begun to speak, Dux inclute taucrum. First, she explains that it is fast, it is divine will to no chaste person to insistere upon the limen of sceleratum here. But, she continues, Hecate, the goddess, when Hecate praeficit is to place in charge, you place an accusative in charge of datives, and so that's what awarenis lucis is in this context. Okay, she herself, Hecate, docuited the Sibyl, everything therein. So the Sibyl is now about to share with Aeneas everything she herself had been taught. So first of all, in this region, Rhadamanthus of Knossos, of Crete, is the ruler here. He castigat, and he audit, and he subigit fateri. He compels the confession. He compels them to confess. The next bit here is a bit challenging. To confess the things. Interpret this quae as your direct object. And the rest of this is really indicating whom Rhadamanthus is exacting a confession from. Okay, the things anyone, quis here is anyone, apud superos, so the superos are the living, those above the underworld. Anyone having laetatus in furto inane. So to confess the things, anyone having rejoiced with an empty theft. Anyone who distulit is what you have next here. And distulit will mean put off, who has put off komisa piakula, the reparations of piakula here, more specifically meaning atonements. So the atonements having begun into seram mortem. And if you'll notice here, you have a little chiasmus here where you now see the atonements for the sins surrounded by death because it's too late to commit these things. This particular clause is difficult to put into literal English, so please make sure that you understand what Virgil is trying to communicate here in terms of the offense, the intention to make it right, and the reality of what happens. And these are the people over whom Rhadamanthus is exerting his control. Sybil continues, continuo. Further on, then immediately, you see Tisiphone, the avenger. She is bound with a flagello, or she's holding a flagello, and insultans upon the sontis, she shakes it. And torvos here will describe anguis. In her sinistra, she again intentans torvos anguis. She calls the saiwa agmina of her sister's genitive plural. So you have this image of these various jurisdictions and gods and kings and judges in charge of each of those. Tum daemum. Then at last, you see stridentes sacrae portae. And they are, with the participle shrieking here, on a horrible sounding hinge. And then Sybil asks, do you see who is within? And this is where the Hydra holds domain, the same Hydra whom Hercules once had overcome. Beyond her, the Sybil continues to say, you get the actual, well, an allusion to the actual dimensions of Tartarus and the size of it relative to the size of Olympus. Within then, she continues to narrate some of the others contained therein for eternal punishment. And you see here the offspring of the Titans, some of the giants. And from here, we'll move on to more specifics and more crimes, which we'll pick up at line 582.